Hello everybody. We're going to take a look at these old dinosaur toys. These are the hollow figures sold commonly in dime stores from the 60s onward. And according to the information that I'm going to go with, they were originally made by the Tootsietoy company. And when you think of Tootsietoy, you think of cheap die-cast vehicles, like the bargain version of Matchbox or whatever. I had a lot of those as a kid, those little Tootsietoy cars. But according to the information in this is Dinosauriana. I ordered this from Joe DeMarco a few years ago. And the information on the internet about these things is very conflicting. Some people want to claim that they were originally made by Ajax, and some, claim that they are made by Joy Toy, and I'm sure that different companies had the molds at later times. But according to the information about these dinosaurs in this CD-ROM, this Dinosauriana source. These were originally made by the Tootsietoy company from 1962 onward. And, the molds did change hands later, and they showed up in different offerings by different companies. In the 80s, they were in the DFC dinosaur playset that's Dimensions for Children. They had a dinosaur playset in the 80s, I think, called Dinosaurs and Cavemen. That's one that I don't have. I have some parts of it, but I don't have the whole playset or the box. But anyway, these things showed up in that, along with several other different types of dinosaurs from different companies. And then they were released later on by Joy Toy in bags, and I think by Tootsietoy as well later. So, these molds, like a lot of the old dino toys, they made the rounds from the 60s up through the 90s and even beyond in some cases. I had these figures in the mid 60s as a kid, a little kid, and I really enjoyed them. And this Moss Chops here is one of my original ones. There's some of these on the table right here for this video that I had as a kid, and some of them I had to replace because I either didn't have them or they were damaged from playing with them so much. You can tell this Moss Chops is he needs some dental work because I was kind of rough on him when I was a little kid. But these things were great to play with, and I'm sure a lot of you have fond memories of these things. And I had a white Triceratops like this, but I no longer have that. So I mean, I don't know whatever happened to it. So I had to rebuy some of these a few years ago, you know, in eBay lots and different sources. So anyway, in the 60s, the dinosaurs were not just extinct animals, extinct prehistoric animals. They were extinct monsters. I mean, look at the teeth. You know, a Triceratops is not a carnivore, and that did not stop the mole maker from adding a generous helping of meat chomping teeth to that dude. And then here's the Brontosaurus. He's kind of subdued, there's no huge teeth hanging out on that one anyway. And I'm pretty sure this is my original Brontosaurus too, because look at all the dirt on the inside there. I had to rebuy this one. This is an original one from the time period though. Now, you can sometimes tell about the repops from later years because, for one thing, if they're not in primary colors, if they're in some kind of a pastel, then it's a repop. And not all of them in primary colors are original, but all of the originals were in primary colors like this. And this one's even got like the remnants of a price stamp, and it looks like the remnants of, I don't know, it's either 19 cents looks more like 19 cents really. That's kind of pricey for this. I would have thought maybe a dime. And maybe that is 10 cents. It's hard to tell at this point. You know, but there's a definite price stamp on it. So they were bin toys as well, you know. They were sold in bags in different groups, like 4, and a total of, you know, whole total of 6. And here is a Dimetrodon. I think this might be one of my original ones. It's a little bit dusty. I can't say for sure. I've got several of them in the basement boxed up that I had as a kid, and they're a little the worse for wear. So I tried to get a decent condition set together for my collection, you know, to put on the shelf, and that's what I did with these here. This Stegosaurus is not an original one. I think it's probably a repop. I'm not really sure. But my original Stegosaurus, the back plates were broken off in several places. That's one of the things that breaks first on these is the Stegosaurus back plates. So anyway, let's take a look at these guys up close. Check out the sculpts on them. Here's the moss chops. Like I said, his teeth are suffering from rough play. And of course, they're all hollow. And they're really light, you know, just light plastic cheap toys. And for years, the only thing I ever saw these called in sources of information for dinosaur toys was Dime Store Dinos or something to that effect. Or they'd point out the fact that they were hollow, like hollow Dime Store toy dinosaurs. It's like, you know, it was just lost for the general knowledge of dinosaur collectors for the longest time that Tootsietoy made them. And I'm trusting Joe DeMarco. He's supposed to know his stuff, you know. He's like one of the experts in this. So if he says they were originally made by Tootsietoy and it all started in 1962, well, then I'm going to go with that. There's the Brontosaurus. And he's the only one without a big mouthful of teeth. And of course, here's the T-Rex. He's all bent over and creepy looking, you know. And he's got a generous helping of chompers, you know. Of course, it's appropriate on a T-Rex. They were carnivores, you know. One of the most fearsome carnivores to ever live. So, you know, he's noteworthy in that he's all kind of hunched over there. And here's the Dimetrodon. And he's a mouthful of razor sharps. Some of these colors, you know, they're so reflective. The camera has a problem getting details on them. And here's this green Stegosaurus. You know, these aren't in perfect condition or anything, but they're good enough. There are no big pieces broken off or anything like that. And in 4 of the 6, they are originals that I had from childhood, so I'm glad to have them. Anyway, that's a look at the sculpts, and that's pretty much all there is to say about them. You know, I mean, they were sold in different ways, and according to that price stamp there, they were bin items as well as sold in bags. I don't think they were ever on blister cards. They were so big. But they were usually, you know, in bags with header cards, I would imagine. I wish I had some original packaging for at least the repops, but, you know, I just don't. Can't have everything, I guess. Anyway, hopefully you guys will enjoy a look at these, and it'll bring back some good memories of these things from when you were a kid playing with them. You know, these things are dear to many a Dino Kid. And that's all I got for this one. I'll see you next go around with some more either monster stuff or dino stuff, probably. Just never know here in the haunted graveyard. See ya.